session.
Thank you, Ante. Skill 2 and a very good evening, everyone. Welcome to MSBS Weekly Guided Meditation by Phra Goh. Today is the 13th of January 2026, the first lesson of the year. And Bante will be starting a new subject today. Bante will be reading the homage to the Buddha and taking a 5 precept for Buddhists. Now let us compose our mind, put our palms together, and welcome Bante. Over to you, Bante.
Okay, thank you, Terence, for the intro. So now we pay respects to the Buddha by bowing 3 times. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. Okay, then we start with the chanting homage. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. 3 refuges. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dutiyampi dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dutiyampi saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Tatiyampi dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Tatiyampi saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. 5 precepts. Pāṇātipada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adinādāna veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Kāmesu micchācāra veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musāvāda veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Surameraya majjapamadatthāna veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, so very good evening to all and a Happy New Year. If I haven't greeted you all, for those who just joined the first time. So anyway, we are starting the first lesson, the first sutta sharing of the year, and it's under this Sammaditthi Sutta. It's called Sammaditthi Sutta. Sammaditthi means right view. So the Noble Eightfold Path, this is the first one, Sammaditthi, the first one. And this sutta is pretty interesting because someone requested me to talk on dependent origination. So we've covered quite a number of suttas on dependent origination quite some time ago. So I try not to repeat the same sutta. So I use this one, Sammaditthi Sutta. So let's take a dive in and see what this teaching is about. Okay, so this is the intro. I'll just read, and along the way I'll just comment here and there. I have heard that on one occasion the Blessed One was staying near Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anathapindika's monastery. Then Venerable Sariputta addressed the monks. friends. Okay, so the Buddha is in this Anathapindika's monastery. That's the name of a rich merchant who donated the sort of entire land, Jeta's grove, to the Buddha. So he kind of built a big monastery, and then the Buddha spent most of the time, or rather most of his teaching time, in this place, this venue. Okay, then the Buddha asked a question, or the Buddha addressed, not the Buddha, Venerable Sariputta. So there's a conversation between Sariputta and the monks. So somehow the Buddha is not involved. So this is a sermon by Venerable Sariputta. So Venerable Sariputta is the wisest chief disciple of the Buddha, or the right-hand man. Yeah, so in the left-hand man would be Venerable Maha Moggallana. Yeah, so Venerable Sariputta is known to be foremost in wisdom, and Venerable Maha Moggallana is known to be foremost in psychic powers. So these are the two, like a bit polar opposite. So the monks replied, "Yes, friend." The monks responded. Venerable Sariputta said, right view, right view. It is said, to what extent is a disciple of noble ones a person of right view? One whose view is made straight, who is endowed with verified confidence in the Dhamma, and who has arrived at this true Dhamma. So now the popular trend in the Theravada community is to aim to be a stream enterer, aim to be a Sotapanna. So in order to be a stream enterer, you need to have right view. So that's one of the criteria. So in this particular sutta, His Venerable Sariputta will be explaining right view in various aspects. Okay, so let's move on. We will come from a long distance, friend, to learn the meaning of these words in Venerable Sariputta's presence. It would be good if Venerable Sariputta himself would enlighten us as to their meaning. Having listened to him, the monks will bear it in mind. So these monks are visitors, traveling monks. They come from a long way just to meet Venerable Sariputta, to gain wisdom from him. Then in that case, friends, listen and pay close attention. I will speak. As you say, friend, the monks responded. Okay, next. So Venerable Sariputta first start off with discerning or differentiating skillful and unskillful. Yeah, they don't straightway talk about the chim stuff. So first you need to differentiate what is skillful and unskillful, good and bad, or wholesome and unwholesome. Venerable Sariputta said, when a disciple of the noble ones discerns what is unskillful, discerns the root of what is unskillful, discerns what is skillful, and discerns the root of what is skillful, it is to that extent that he is a person of right view, one whose view is made straight, who is endowed with verified confidence in the Dhamma, and who has arrived at this true Dhamma. Okay, next. Okay, so it's important to know what is unskillful and skillful first. If not, you straightway start off with emptiness or straightway jump to dependent origination non-self and all those things. All the chim concept. Then like just now one person asked a question, if a person can be very proud, yes, I know a lot of these Buddhist terms, I'm very knowledgeable, very proud, very egoistic, and that is an unskillful mind, but they don't know. Then they think, I know a lot of Buddhism, so they think that is very successful in their spiritual practice. So no, so the baseline or the litmus paper is still back to the basics, whether you know what is skillful and unskillful. So if a person doesn't know any deep concepts, theoretical concepts about Buddhism, but they are able to produce a skillful mind, then that is success in their spiritual path. Yeah, and vice versa. If a person is sort of very knowledgeable but very unskillful most of the time, then that would be, I would say, a hindrance in their spiritual path. Okay, so let's read on. Now, what is unskillful? Taking life is unskillful. Taking what is not given, sexual misconduct, lying, abusive speech, divisive tale-bearing, idle chatter is unskillful. Covetousness, ill will, wrong views are unskillful. These things are termed unskillful. Okay, so basically, we chanted the 5 precepts from earlier. So the 5 precepts, only 3 is taken. 3 of the bodily actions is part of this. 10 unskillful deeds. So there's total 10. So 3 for body. So you have the taking life, that's 1. Then you have taking what is not given. So there's a second unskillful one. Then the third one, sexual misconduct. So these are the 3 bodily unskillful actions. Then for speech, you have 4. Speech, there's 4. So even though our precept we just recite 1, refrain from telling lies, this one has 4. So you have lying is one unskillful act, unskillful speech rather. Then abusive speech, maybe scolding and the harsh words and all those. So that is the abusive speech. That's another unskillful speech. Then the third one, divisive tale-bearing. So you try to split up communities and split up people. So that's divisive tale-bearing. Then the fourth one is idle chatter. Idle chatter. That means saying things that are not relevant, not beneficial. So that is 4 types of unskillful speech. Then there's 3 for thoughts. So first one, covetousness. That means greed. Then ill will means anger. Then wrong views, or you can call it delusion. So these 3 are parts of the unskillful thoughts. So you have 3, 4, 3, total 10. 10 unskillful acts. So this will generate, I would say, unskillful karma. And the more a person does this, then the more obstacles and more hindrance to their peace and happiness. And what are the roots of what is unskillful? Greed is a root of what is unskillful. Aversion is the root of what is unskillful. Delusion is a root of what is unskillful. These are termed the roots of what is unskillful. So Venerable Sariputta mentions, like, imagine this, the 4 noble truths. So the first one is all the wrong things that people do, and then the cause of all these wrong deeds, all these wrong, I would say, addiction to the wrong deeds is due to craving, greed, aversion, and delusion. So these are the 3 kind of roots of what is unskillful. Okay, next. And these 2 would be like the solution. So in terms of 4 noble truths, this one, anything skillful is a path to happiness. So what is skillful? Abstaining from taking life is skillful. So basically the opposite of the previous one. So you abstain from taking life, abstain from taking what is not given, from sexual misconduct, from lying, from abusive speech, from divisive tale-bearing, abstaining from idle chatter, lack of covetousness, lack of ill will, and right views are skillful. And these are termed skillful. So if a person has all these 10 things, then they are creating a smooth highway to their success in their spiritual path. So what are the roots of what is skillful? Lack of greed is a root of what is skillful. Lack of aversion is a root of what is skillful. lack of delusion is a root of what is skillful. These are termed the roots of what is skillful. So delusion would be like, there's a whole range of delusion. So I think we covered again probably in last year. So there's a mundane kind of right view. That means believing in karma, believing in the different realms, believing in rebirth. So we call this mundane kind of right view. And if a person truly practice and overcome the four, or rather understand the Four Noble Truths, that means they reduce greed and anger. So that is the supra-mundane kind of view. So the delusion got different levels, from the mundane level all the way to the supra-mundane level to clear off. Okay, so a person may not believe in heavenly beings, may not believe in those unseen beings, those ghosts and all those. Doesn't matter. Buddha teaches, doesn't matter. In the Kalama Sutta, not important. Main thing is you must do good. Practice the four sublime states, which is to overcome aversion, the root of aversion. So four sublime states, overcome aversion, make your mind wholesome, then whatever fruit occurs, whether there's karma, whether there's afterlife, then you reap the rewards lah. If have or don't have, doesn't matter. So the main thing is to emphasize on the supramundane non-delusion, which is to overcome your greed, anger, and this mainly overcome greed and anger first. Okay, next slide. Right, so this is a very long stock formula. When a disciple of the Noble Ones discerns what is unskillful in this way, discerns the root of what is unskillful in this way, discerns what is skillful in this way, and discerns the root of what is skillful in this way, when having entirely abandoned passion obsession, having abolished aversion obsession, having uprooted the view and conceit obsession, I am. Okay, so this is view and conceit obsession of I am is actually the fetter or the defilement only an Arahant can overcome. So Venerable Sariputta is talking about enlightenment level. So this delusion is totally abandoned. Having abandoned ignorance. So ignorance means not knowing the Four Noble Truths. Again, only Arahant can overcome. And given rise to clear knowing. He has put an end to suffering and stress in the here and now. So only an Arahant can overcome all the stress and suffering in the here and now. It is to this extent that a disciple of the Noble Ones is a person of right view, one whose view is made straight, who is endowed with verified confidence in the Dhamma, and who has arrived at this true Dhamma. So in this sutta, Venerable Sariputta is not asking the audience to aim for Sotapanna. He's asking the audience to aim for full enlightenment, get rid of the conceit, get rid of the ignorance. Then it's called arriving at the true Dhamma. So this is we aim high lah. So if you cannot reach there, never mind. At least you can have the fall back to something else. Okay, next. Okay, so we cleared the first segment on what is skillful and unskillful. Then Venerable Sariputta will move on to talk on other things, all the mind and all the contact and all the different things. Okay, so once you're able to differentiate what is wholesome and unwholesome, then we start to move on to something more technical in terms of the psycho-cognitive processes, psychological cognitive process. Then this one talk about nutriment, feeding the mind and also feeding of the body. Saying, good friend, having delighted in and approved of Venerable Sariputta's words, the monks asked him a further question. Would there be another line of reasoning by which a disciple of the Noble Ones is a person of right view, who has arrived at this true Dhamma? So basically the audience still don't have enough, still don't get enough, one encore, one teaching not enough. Do you have other ways of explaining right view? Yeah, so because they came a long way, right? So one short segment not enough. So they asked for more teachings, more explanation, different angles at looking at right view. So Venerable Sariputta is being asked this question. Next. There would, when a disciple of the Noble Ones discerns nutriment, the origination of nutriment, the cessation of nutriment, and the way of practice leading to the cessation of nutriment, then he is a person of right view, who has arrived at this true Dhamma. Yeah, so if you look at the background, might be a bit misleading, but you get the point later. Okay, and what is nutriment? What is the origination of nutriment? What is the cessation of nutriment? What is the way of practice leading to the cessation of nutriment? So again, this is in the format of the Four Noble Truths. So the first Noble Truth is suffering, then the second Noble Truth, the cause of the suffering, then the third Noble Truth will be the cessation, and the fourth Noble Truth will be the path leading to cessation. So everything needs to link to the Four Noble Truths. So including the previous one that talk about skillful and unskillful, is also linked to the Four Noble Truths. If you do anything unskillful, then you have suffering law. Yeah, if you do anything that is skillful, then you kind of cease your suffering. Next. So first they define what are the different types of nutriment. And these are the four nutriments for the maintenance of beings who have come into being, or for the support of those in search of place to be born. Which four? So the first one would be the obvious physical food, the one you makan, gross or refined. So heavenly being will have the refined food, heavenly food. Then people like us or the animal realm have the physical food. Okay, then number two, contact as the second. So contact would be based on your senses. You have your eye contact, ear contact, nose, tongue, body, mind contact. So it's defined as depending on, for example, your eyes, depending on your eye organ, depending on the image outside, and dependent on your awareness, which is your eye, depending on your eye, which is your organ, depending on the image, then eye consciousness arise. Then you are aware of what you're seeing. So the meeting of these three things is called contact. So that's the definition of contact. So same with all the senses. So the third type of food, intellectual intention, the third, and the fourth would be consciousness, the fourth. So there are four types of food. So for example, right now, if you are looking at the screen, that is eye contact. And you need to use your eye consciousness to be aware of what you're seeing. If you are hearing, then that is your ear contact. And right now, there can be 1,001 things happening, but you may not know all the 1,001 things happening right now. So if I were to say, your heart is beating, so only when I mention your heart is beating, then you start to feel your heart beating, right? So we call this contact. All the while your heart is beating, but you are not aware of your heart beating because there is no contact. So your body is there, the nervous system is there. The heart is pumping, right? There's movement. Then only when I mention, or when you place your attention to the heart, then this body consciousness arises. So the meeting of these three is called contact. When kind of zoom in your attention to that spot, we call it contact. Yeah, so this is contact. So it's dependent on the number fourth one, which is consciousness, and intellectual intention. That means your reaction with greed or anger, or without greed or anger, all kinds of intention. So your intention to investigate the image, let's say your mind or consciousness, or your intention to analyze. So that is called intention. So basically I would say in a way a kind of desire. So desire is a kind of food also. So these are the four types of food. So the first one will be the physical, then the next three will be the more on the mind. Yeah. Okay, next. From the origination of craving comes the origination of nutriment. Yeah, so the cause of these nutriments, so basically all the four nutriments are defined as the first noble truth. All these samsaric things are the five clinging aggregates. It can be the food, external food, it can be the mind. All these are part of the five clinging aggregates. So the five clinging aggregates would be form, feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. These are the five clinging aggregates. So we covered a few of the aggregates earlier on. So the physical stuff will be the form aggregate. When we have contact with anything we see, hear, smell, think, taste, and touch, there will arise feeling also. Feeling, whether we like what we see, whether we don't like what we see, or we find it neutral. Different feelings, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral feelings. And there's also the perception aggregate. Like, what is this image? What is this word? So there is perception. So all these five aggregates, all these are part of the nutriment. Okay, then origination of craving comes, from the origination of craving comes the origination of nutriment. So craving will proliferate this nutriment. From the cessation of craving comes the cessation of nutriment. So if a person sees their craving, they will cease these four nutriments. So it's not like if I reduce my craving, there will be food shortage in the world. All the food will disappear. No, it's not the external disappearance. It's your mental cognition of the nutriment. Is how you perceive the one thing of the food. The one thing of the food. So that will cease. And the way of practice leading to the cessation of nutriment is just this very noble eightfold path. Right view, right resolve, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. So these 8 things. Yeah, so in Buddhism, some people just say, must learn to let go, just one word, let go, or 2 words, let go. So let go not easy. Let go need these 8 things, 8 steps. 8-step plan. So this is the Noble Eightfold Path, to cease and overcome all this suffering. Okay, any questions so far? Now it's 9 o'clock. So I move on the next slide first. Let's conclude this particular episode. Now, when the disciple of noble ones discerns nutriment, the origination of nutriment, cessation of nutriment, and the way of practice leading to the cessation of nutriment in this way, when having an entirely abandoned passion obsession, having abolished aversion obsession, having uprooted the view and conceit obsession I am, Having abandoned ignorance and given rise to clear knowing, he has put an end to suffering and stress right in the here and now. It is to this extent, too, that the disciple of the Noble Ones is a person of right view who has arrived at this true Dhamma. So the moral of the story is you need to practice the Noble Eightfold Path to seize whatever you perceive. It can be food, it can be skillful, unskillful. You need to practice the Noble Eightfold Path. Yeah? So that's the short summary of what we covered today. Any next slide? Okay, so this will leave it for next week's session. Okay, so we open the ground, the Q&A. Don't want to overload people. Some people cannot take it really. Any questions?
Bhante,
Yep.
when my own experience, whenever I meditate, I always wish I wish I can meditate more than 30 minutes, let's say. And now I managed to get 45 minutes. And then now I can reach nearly 1 hour. Then I wish again. Well, I wish I can do longer. Is that greed?
Yeah, so desire got, again, wholesome and unwholesome. Yeah, so we need to understand there's wholesome desire. So there's, if you aspire to be a good person, aspire to improve, so that's good, nothing wrong. So the Pali word for positive desire is chanda.
Chanda.
Yeah, the negative kind of desire, we call it tanha. Yeah, so that tanha is the cause of suffering.
No, we used to hear the word tanha, chanda. No, never hear it.
Yep.
Okay. But then sometimes when I cannot get more than 1 hour, I feel like a bit of anger, a bit to myself lah. I said, why I cannot? The automatic 1 hour, it will wake up already.
Yeah. So because we are not pure, so sometimes that good desire, we have a mix of unwholesome desire. Anything that lead to suffering, disappointment, then that means there's an indicator of this unwholesome or unskillful desire.
Then I should tell myself, never mind, let it come by itself. Okay, thank you, Bhante.
No problem.
Bhante,
Yes.
how to practice cessation of craving?
Cessation of craving, the Noble Eightfold Path, lor.
But how to use it in daily life is so difficult.
Yeah, so like...
We doesn't know what our mind is in that stage. We can't control our mind.
Yeah, so part of right mindfulness is to always contemplate on impermanence in all your activities, even when talking, when your eyes are open, when you're working, when you're walking. You need to always be mindful of impermanence.
I can be mindful only when I slow down. But in normal pace of life, I cannot think of that. How to control on this?
Yeah, we call this building of your spiritual muscle, or rather your level of contentment. So if let's say your level of peace or level of contentment is very weak, then a bit of decision making, a bit of activity, then that peace gone. Then a bit hard to practice. So yes, there is formal practice, formal sitting time. So that is good to build up that muscle, that contentment there. And once it becomes more obvious, gets strengthened, it will somehow like stay with you even when you're busy doing some other things. So we call this the samatha, post-samatha effect. Yeah, so it will last for some time. So that is a good, I would say, leverage for you to do some reflection in that state of calm when you are busy, mentally calm but externally busy. So that would be like a bonus effect. Then of course, the more you practice, then the more skillful you become. So even without the samatha, one will upgrade to a vipassana kind of calm, insight kind of calm. That means a real detachment. So even a person never formally sit and recharge the mind, there is a baseline level of calm there. So that's the long-term investment, the insight and detachment.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Hi, Chris, you have raised your hand. You have something.
Yeah, Bante. Can I understand the word nutriments by the word like thoughts for our mind, and like any of the objects that surround us that comes into contact with our sense thought?
Yeah, so you can call it food for the mind.
And
Yes.
the other sensory organ.
Yes, so these are the sensory food. So for example, like COVID, lockdown, a lot of people stuck in their home. So for those who are used or addicted to extreme sensory food, that means too much entertainment, too much external parties. So suddenly lockdown, everything stay at home, then can go crazy. They go crazy. Sensory deprived can go crazy. They do not have alternate source of happiness, alternate source of food. Then they go crazy lah.
It means to say the mundane human beings, that we are always searching for something to satisfy ourselves. That is food. That's our
Yes.
nutriment.
Yes. Yeah, both physical and mental.
Okay, sadhu, Bante.
Okay, good question. Anyone else? Okay, if there is no questions, we are going for a 5-minute break. Then afterwards we come back for the guided meditation. So see you all in 5 minutes time. Okay, we still have like 2 minutes. For those who have returned, any issues? So all these theory, I have some. Oh yes, Chris, yeah, something.
Bante,
Yep.
when I first read the Eight Noble Path, I always get confused between right view and right intention. Could Bante, later when you have time or some other days, can you please further explain this?
Okay, so right view, because there are different translators, so I'm just making a guess on which translator. So like right view or right understanding would be basically to understand the Four Noble Truths. So that is the definition of the Sammaditthi. So that's the title of the sutta today. Then right intention would be probably similar to right thought or right contemplation or right reflection, depends on who's the translator. So this right intention or this right thought would be thoughts of non-greed, thoughts of non-anger, thoughts of harmlessness.
That means to say wholesome thoughts?
Yes, that's right.
But before like when we come to when we encounter anything, if I don't give myself a minute to stay quiet, and if I react and not respond, there won't be yoniso manasikara, and I might go wrong. So is that the type of thoughts or intention that Bante means?
So in terms of this appropriate attention, we use reflection of impermanence or loving kindness. So we are going to like change the perception. So of course there are many ways to resolve situations. So like taking a step back might be one strategy to calm yourself. So the routine we're doing later is a bit more proactive, not waiting for the mind to calm down. We are intentionally generating wholesome thought to overcome the unwholesome thoughts.
Okay, so I get Bante. Okay, sadhu, Bante.
Okay, no problem. Alright, anyone else? Hopefully everyone's back. Okay, so if there are no issues, then we start the guided meditation. So we find a comfortable sitting posture. Make sure your back is upright and the rest of the body relaxed. Okay, so the first phase of the meditation we are doing is the impurities of the body meditation. So we are going to do a bit of visualization. So we're going to visualize all the hairs from head to toe. So when we visualize something, that's using the mind door consciousness, because our eyes are closed, using the mind door imagination. So there is some intention to generate that image, so that is a kind of food. And whatever contact you have with the hairs, if let's say the image, you find your hair beautiful, then probably one will react with greed. I like my hair. Yeah? If you find your hair ugly or messy, you don't like the hairstyle, then you might react with aversion. So that is if we autopilot. If we just do nothing, then the mind will react in this manner. The autopilot mode, you react with greed or anger. So now we are proactively trying to wish it well and happy. Thoughts of non-anger first. So once you generate the image, one patch of hair, you wish it well and happy. Once you finish the sentence, quickly move on to a new patch of hair and then wish it well and happy. And move on new patch, move on new patch. Keep on repeating that. So the repetition is called right effort. Because once you pause for more than 2 seconds, confirm all the AI drama movie show will come out already. The mind can generate lots of mental formation. So this part of skillful means of calming the mind. There's also unskillful ways of calming the mind, like sleeping, just do nothing and sleep. So that also can calm the mind, but don't need skill. So if you are doing it correctly, the more you wish any part of the body well and happy, like right now the hairs, then the mind should be getting calmer. If the more you meditate, the more agitated, more frustration, more stress, that means something is wrong, more suffering. Practice Four Noble Truths should cease the suffering. Then your challenge is to see how far can the mind settle down. So in this particular phase, there is like a certain maximum limit. The mind calm down to a certain point and cannot calm any further. That's like the maximum really. So continue to keep wishing the hairs well and happy. Okay, if you find that the mind is quite settled down, then we call this your neutral baseline state. No levels of concentration or anything yet, just a neutral state. And this will be the minimum requirement for insight. So now we switch to the insight segment of this contemplation. We are going to think that all these hairs go through birth, aging, sickness, and death. So we kind of fast forward the aging process, hairs growing, falling, growing, and falling. And as they keep looping this cycle, we mentally need to label, mentally need to recite birth, aging, sickness, death. Or you can use rising and passing. So make sure the image synchronizes with the words. Once you don't follow the sequence, don't follow the words, then again the mind will stray off all kinds of drama show. And this thinking of impermanence is to have thoughts of non-greed. So earlier on we reduce aversion, and now we reduce greed. And if the conditions are right, there should be some trigger, certain emotion will appear. And suddenly like certain tension, certain phenomena will like feel like ceasing, certain nutriment feel like disappearing. So regardless of what you experience, keep on reflecting, rising and passing on birth, aging, sickness, death. So this is the process of cessation, not full cessation yet. Enlightenment not so easy. Still a long journey. So once you stop only, then all the nutriment, all these formations will appear again. All the clinging will appear. Then we can ask ourselves, are these hairs truly self? Can we tell the hairs not to go through birth and death? So the next part of the body, we can think of the nails, fingernails and toenails, and we wish them well and happy. So this is back to the samatha phase. Every part of the nail well and happy, then we move on, new part of the nails well and happy. Okay, then once the mind is calm, then you can move on to the insight phase. So all the nails go through birth, aging, sickness, and death. So you think of the nails growing and falling many cycles. And as we keep looping this image, we need to mentally recite birth, aging, sickness, and death, or you can use rising and passing. Then we can ask ourselves, are these nails truly self? Can we ask the nails not to go through birth and death? And the next part of the body, we can think of the teeth. So we can, when we keep on switching different objects, and then we have the different mental, say, reappearance of nutriment, clinging and detachment, re-clinging of the aggregates. So we just visualize the teeth, wish all the teeth in the mouth well and happy. And all these teeth are subject to birth, aging, sickness, and death. So this is the detachment phase, think of impermanence. So all the teeth go through this growing and falling, many cycles. Even though our teeth fall off the most twice, in this mental exercise we just keep repeating. So the more cycles, the better. And as we keep looping the image, we need to mentally recite birth, aging, sickness, and death, or you can use rising and passing. Then we can ask ourselves, are these teeth truly self? Can we tell the teeth not to go through birth and death? And the next part of the body, we can think of the skin, the skin that surrounds the whole body, and we wish them well and happy. So if, let's say, you're feeling a bit drowsy, you might increase the rate of reflection. And all these skin are subject to birth, aging, sickness and death. So we think of them growing and falling many cycles. And as we keep looping this image, we need to mentally recite birth, aging, sickness and death. Or you can use rising and passing. And we can ask ourselves, are the skin truly self? Can we tell the skin not to go through birth and death? So the next phase of meditation, we are not going to visualize anymore. Now we are going to feel the sensations using bodily contact. So we call this mindfulness of the four element sensations. So the four elements are the earth, fire, wind and water. Earth represents any hard or soft sensations. Fire is hot and cold. Wind is the movements, fast, slow movements. Water is the moist or dry sensations. So basically whatever sensation appear, we are going to wish it well and happy. Same step. Don't have to purposely create the sensations, don't control it, don't fight it. So we kind of intentionally make peace with it first. Okay, so wishing oneself well and happy, not selfless kind of love yet. So it can only reach this neutral state, no concentration, no nothing. So we take note of this neutral emotion for your reference or comparison. And now we are going to cultivate this boundless loving kindness. We are going to wish, may all beings in all directions be well and happy. Above, below, and all across, all directions. May all beings be well and happy. Don't have to push or exert the mind, let it extend naturally by itself. However far you wish to expand doesn't matter. And in that widened area of attention, we are going to perceive all beings as the four elements. So this is part of appropriate attention. Don't need to imagine how sentient beings look like. There will be bound to some different feelings and opinion, biasness. So we treat all beings as the four elements. Whatever sensation appear, we are going to wish, may all beings be well and happy. So these sensations may appear inside the body, they may appear outside the body, doesn't matter. Once you detect something, may all beings be well and happy. So the less reaction to other contact, and we just stick to the 4 elements. And we are reducing the sensual nutriment. Keep on wishing, may all beings be well and happy. Okay, for those who are following, if you keep on wishing, may all beings be well and happy, you have the right effort, right thought, everything, and it may trigger this right concentration. So usually loving kindness may lead one to the first level of concentration, indicated by some increment in some joy and happiness compared to the neutral state from earlier. And regardless of what you experience, keep on wishing, may all beings be well and happy. Keep planting the causes. Keep turning the Noble Eightfold Path. Okay, once we've taken note of this emotion or this state of mind, we are switching to the second sublime state, which is compassion. So for compassion, we are going to wish, may all beings be free from suffering. All this sense contact, all these elements are suffering. So whenever any sensation appears, we are going to wish, may all beings be free from suffering. So this is the lowest common denominator. Don't have to over-imagine any scenario. In fact, try not to imagine anything. Use your here and now evidence. Any sensation appear, so they will represent all beings. So we're going to wish, may all beings be free from suffering. And if you are still following and you keep on wishing, may all beings be free from suffering, and this compassion may lead one to the second level of concentration. So the joy and happiness will kind of appear stronger or more distinct than the previous one due to the disappearance of this vitaka and vichara, this initial and sustained thought cluttering process. And regardless of what you experience, keep on wishing, may all beings be free from suffering. Keep turning the Dhamma wheel, Eightfold Path. And once we have taken note of this emotion or this state of mind, then we move on to the third sublime state, which is appreciative joy, and we're going to rejoice with all beings. Also using the lowest common denominator, any sensation appear every second, all beings will gain a new experience. So when any time a sensation appears, we are going to rejoice in their gain, rejoice with all beings. So in a way, appreciation, moment to moment, we still get to live, we still gain new experience. Every second, rejoice with all beings. Don't have to imagine who win what prize or whatever, right? No story making, come back to the elements. Okay, then again, if the conditions are right, keep on rejoicing with all beings. You are still following, then this appreciative joy may lead one to the third level of concentration. So this time should be a different pleasant emotion, due to the disappearance of joy. So now left with happiness, not the jumping up and down kind of rejoicing, but calm kind of pleasant emotion. So there's a factor of some equanimity there. And regardless of what you experience, keep on rejoicing with all beings. Okay, then we move on to the fourth sublime state, which is equanimity. And we are using the concept of karma. All beings are subject to karma. We reap what we sow. And in this routine, again, no imagination. Do not speculate in the past. What have you done before? We stick to the elements. Any element appear, that's actually old karmas ripening. And they have their past causes, their origin story, but we don't need to know what's their story behind it. We just need to acknowledge karmas ripening. So if a pleasant feeling appear, probably that's good karmas ripening. Any unpleasant feeling appear, bad karmas ripening. Neutral feelings appear, neutral karmas ripening. So in short, we just need to recite karmas ripening. Okay, if the mind is more accepting of karma, then one may experience a stronger neutral kind of emotion, no joy, no happiness. So that neutral emotion, we call it equanimity. So that's the indicator for the fourth level of concentration. And regardless of what you experience, keep on reciting karmas ripening. Okay, and eventually one can also think of impermanence, how to detach from these karmas. So every moment we think of rising and passing, any sensation appear, rising, passing. Okay, and before we conclude the session due to time constraints, same gentle reminder: in all activities, whether you're standing, sitting, walking or lying down, you can be mindful of impermanence or mindful of the sublime states. And with that, we can gently open our eyes, formally end the session in formally generate right thought. Okay, any problems or questions? If there's no issues, then we move on to the chanting, dedication chant. Anumodana. Akasata ca Bhumata Devanaga Mahitika Punyang tang anumoditva Cirang rakantu loka sasanang Etavata ca amhehi Sampadang punya sampadang Sabbe deva sabbe bhuta sabbe sata anumodantu Sabba sampati siddhya. Dedication of marriage to departed. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Aspiration. Imina punya kamena mame bala samagamo Satang samagamo hotu yavani banapatiya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, bow 3 times to the Buddha. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. Okay, any announcements from Terence? Nothing then. If not, good night. See you all next week.
Thank you, Bante.